In that hospital room, I felt like I was on the edge of the world, and in that stillness, I realized the true meaning of life. Sometimes it takes a moment of vulnerability to awaken a deeper sense of purpose. The world outside that hospital room kept spinning, but inside, I learned to listen to the quiet whispers of my soul. It was in that silence that everything began to make sense. I once thought I had control over everything, but in that hospital room, I learned that some things are beyond our grasp. It was in surrender that I found peace and clarity like never before. That hospital room became a space of transformation. Every breath I took felt like a new beginning, and every heartbeat was a reminder that life is both fragile and precious. When I was in that hospital room, everything I thought I knew about life shifted. In those still moments, I discovered strength I never knew existed within me. Sometimes, the hardest battles lead to the greatest breakthroughs. In the hospital room, I discovered that true healing comes not just from the body, but from the mind and spirit as well. The hospital room became a sanctuary for reflection. In that space, I shed layers of who I thought I was, and I began to embrace the person I was meant to be. I entered that hospital room with fear and uncertainty, but left with a renewed sense of gratitude for the small moments that shape our lives. What I learned in that hospital room is that life can change in an instant, and yet it's often in those moments of change that we discover who we really are. I thought that being in that hospital room would break me, but instead, it broke open my heart. It was the beginning of a new chapter, full of lessons and growth. In the hospital room, I realized that pain and healing are two sides of the same coin. It's through our struggles that we find the strength to rise. That hospital room became my teacher, showing me that every moment counts and every breath is a gift. I left it with a profound sense of appreciation for life's fragility. I used to live in the past and worry about the future, but in that hospital room, I learned the importance of being fully present. The present moment is all we truly have. When I was in that hospital room, I realized that healing doesn't always mean physical recovery. Sometimes it's about healing the soul and finding peace within yourself. In the quiet of that hospital room, I learned that life doesn't always go according to plan, but the detours often lead us to where we need to be. The hospital room was the catalyst for my personal evolution. It was there that I found the courage to let go of what was no longer serving me and embrace what was meant for me. I thought I was weak when I walked into that hospital room, but when I left, I realized that the strength I had been searching for was already inside me. Sometimes it's in our darkest moments that we find the light. That hospital room was dark, but it led me to a brighter version of myself. That hospital room was a humbling reminder that life is unpredictable, but it also showed me that we have the power to choose how we respond to life's challenges. In that room, I came face to face with my fears. But what I discovered was that fear is not something to run from. It's something to confront and overcome. The hospital room taught me that healing takes time. It's a process, not a destination, and it's okay to take it one step at a time. When I was in that hospital room, I learned the importance of connection. It's through the support of others that we find the strength to heal and grow. That hospital room became the space where I discovered the power of vulnerability. It's in our most vulnerable moments that we can experience the greatest transformation. I never imagined that a hospital room could hold so much wisdom, but it was in that space of stillness that I learned to trust the process of life and embrace uncertainty. I walked into that hospital room feeling defeated, but I left with a renewed sense of hope and the understanding that sometimes the darkest moments lead to the brightest realizations. In the hospital room, I discovered that healing isn't always linear. There are setbacks, but each setback is an opportunity to learn and grow stronger. That hospital room became the place where I learned to forgive, not just others, but myself. It was a release that allowed me to move forward with a lighter heart. In that hospital room, I learned that sometimes we must break down to rebuild. The pieces may feel scattered, but they come together to form something even more beautiful. The hospital room was my crossroads, the point where my old self met the new one. It was a transformative moment, one I'll never forget. I entered that hospital room with uncertainty and fear, but what I found was a newfound sense of strength and resilience that I never knew I had. Sometimes we are forced into stillness to truly listen to our hearts. It was in the quiet of that hospital room that I heard the voice of my soul calling me toward change. That hospital room was a reminder that life is fragile, but our spirits are resilient. It was a place where I discovered the depth of my own inner strength. What happened to me in that hospital room was more than just physical recovery. It was a spiritual awakening. It changed the way I view life, love, and everything in between. In that hospital room, I learned that every moment of life is precious. We often take the small things for granted, but it's those small moments that truly matter. I walked out of that hospital room with a renewed sense of purpose, knowing that every challenge I faced was shaping me into the person I was always meant to be. That hospital room taught me that sometimes we must let go of what we think we know in order to embrace the unknown. It was in the unknown that I found peace. In the stillness of that hospital room, I came to realize that healing is not a destination, but a journey, and every step of that journey is worth taking. The hospital room was the place where I shed my old fears and embraced a new way of thinking. It was the beginning of my transformation. In that hospital room, I faced my vulnerabilities head on, and in doing so, I discovered a wellspring of strength and resilience that I never knew existed. The experience in that hospital room was a turning point for me. It changed the way I see the world and the way I interact with it. I'll never be the same. I entered that hospital room with doubt, but I left with faith. Faith in myself, in life, and in the universe's ability to guide me through the darkest times. That hospital room showed me that true healing isn't just about the body, it's about the mind, the heart, and the spirit coming together in harmony. What happened to me in that hospital room was a gift. It was the wake-up call I needed to stop living on autopilot and start living with intention. In that hospital room, I learned that life's greatest lessons are often hidden in the most unexpected places. It was in that space of fear that I discovered my truest self. The hospital room became my place of surrender. It was there that I let go of my need for control and trusted in the process of healing and growth. The moment I walked into that hospital room, I thought I was losing everything. But what I gained was so much more than I could ever have imagined. That hospital room taught me that sometimes we must go through the storm to reach the calm. The challenges we face only serve to make us stronger. I thought I had lost everything in that hospital room, but what I found was a deeper connection to myself, to life, and to the world around me. The experience in that hospital room opened my eyes to the beauty of imperfection. We are all works in progress, and that's what makes us truly beautiful. In that hospital room, I realized that the greatest gift we can give ourselves is the permission to heal, to rest, and to grow at our own pace. What happened to me in that hospital room was not the end, but the beginning of a new chapter, a chapter filled with hope, healing, and endless possibilities. That hospital room taught me that we are never truly alone. Even in our darkest moments, we are surrounded by love, support, and the strength of the human spirit. The experience in that hospital room was a reminder that life is unpredictable, but it's also a reminder that we have the power to rise above our challenges. I thought the hospital room was a place of endings, but it turned out to be a place of beginnings, beginnings of self-discovery, healing, and transformation. In that hospital room, I found the courage to face my fears, to release my past, and to step into the future with a renewed sense of purpose. The hospital room was my crucible, where I was tested and transformed. It wasn't easy, but it was exactly what I needed to become the person I am today. In the quiet of that hospital room, I realized that healing isn't just about fixing what's broken. It's about accepting ourselves fully and loving ourselves through the process. That hospital room gave me a new perspective on life. I learned to appreciate the beauty in the struggle and the lessons that come with it. What happened to me in that hospital room was more than just a physical recovery. It was a spiritual awakening that changed the course of my life forever. The hospital room became a place of clarity. It was there that I gained a deeper understanding of what truly matters in life: love, connection, and the courage to keep moving forward.